Hi, everybody. I am Yolanda Marie. Okay, so I am going to do general energy readings for you according to your sun, moon, or rising sign. But full disclosure and disclaimer here, I'm not an astrologer, okay? There are so many good, a few I can think of just right away that I completely trust, who are astrologers who also read tarot sometimes. Sometimes they're intuitive astrologers. They don't necessarily use tarot, but they will definitely have a more fine-tuned way of analyzing your astrological alignments, okay? Planetary alignments and things like that. Also there's numerology. There are different ways to analyze this. So yes, I'm using your sun, moon, or rising sign to divide you into groups to focus in more specifically, but I just want to make you aware that there are other ways that you can analyze this too, and this is just a way to help guide you if you're tuned into this stream of focus in addition to those other ways. All right, I love you so much, guys, so let's get started. All right, for my beautiful Libras. August 17th to August the 31st, there are a lot of subconscious thoughts that want to come to the surface, and something feels like a burden. Perhaps it's these thoughts that feel like a burden, or there's some sort of responsibility that you need to take, but whatever that is, it's just in the way of you allowing these things to come up, okay? All right, so they could be two separate things, or the burden could be the stuff wanting to come up, but whatever it is, whatever feels heavy on you, whether or not it's the, emotions coming up, or whether it's a different situation, that needs to be dealt with because it's a general energy of burden. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to want to look at that and just allow it to be more of a responsibility and just take that burden and lift it from you is what I'm just lift the burden from yourself. How do they do that? How do they lift this burden? They go about their days knowing, taking responsibility that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. It doesn't need to feel like a burden is what I'm getting. It just doesn't need to feel quite like that. So whatever that is, I don't know how that's going to play out because again, this is a general energy here. According to your situation, but just take a look at that this next 2 weeks. Whatever comes up that is going to look or appear or feel like a burden is something that can be released so that you can address what wants to come to the surface and look at that, okay? You need to be very selfish with your time and attention because of all of this. And what's going to come from that is you learning how to fill your own cup to excess without false guilt. Notice the word false guilt, like it's not right somehow to really pay attention to yourself and love yourself in ways that we have been socially trained to think is selfish. All right, so there's like a major theme there as well. That's all tied into all of this. Now, there's some sort of energy of you needing to take a stand for yourself. And again, this feels very connected to all of the other things that are being said right now, but take a stand for yourself and what you need. And what I got was that this is involving other people's opinions, okay, or could be. I don't know if they're other people's opinions in the current time that we're talking about, or if they're past opinions that you have really taken to heart. Whatever it means, if it's got something to do with someone outside of yourself and it's not in alignment with you, take a stand where you need to and know thyself. You know what I mean? Know thyself, but not only know thyself, stand up for yourself. Even if it's just to yourself, that doesn't always mean you have to be verbal and engage in a conversation. By the way, in fact, it's much more effective to do that energetically. All right? But whichever way you need to do it, just take a stand for what you need for yourself. So there is a lot of energy and attention towards goals, business, other things involving abundance. And this could be long or short term. It could be many things at once, but there's just a general energy of that. And also, I was getting that you don't want to overindulge in things right now. Okay, you don't want to just And it's not necessarily physical things that they're talking about. It's more like overindulging in distractions, like using things as a distraction to avoid all this work that's coming up for you. And it's good, happy, beautiful work that's going to really pay off, but it could feel, and that could be the burden, like we talked about before, itself is just really facing that stuff that you need head on and allowing the stuff to come up to the surface and really facing it. So yeah, it's just, this is going to be a good time for all of that. Things may just pop up for you that trigger these things to happen. And likely that's true often, more often than not, that is the way you're going to notice it. And so, yeah, let me know if that resonates with you at all. Love you guys so much. Okay. Namaste. Okay, Scorpio. All right, August 17th to August the 31st, you are really focused in, or at least this wants to come into you. This is seeking you, this state of being, a spiritual authority for yourself and others, your energetic authority. In other words, your ability to radiate out to whatever's around you at any moment, because you're in your knowing of these things. You're not doubting yourself anymore. Okay? You are indeed either energetically or directly leading people around you from that perspective, from this higher perspective, whether they realize it or not, actually. And so there's this energy that wants to come in, but it looks like you want to give a lot of attention to business ideas, building business, giving a lot of energy to those sort of abundance building things, which isn't a bad thing, but it could be an obstacle for you when you are also being inspired or triggered or instigated, whatever, to tackle these higher themes, putting these pieces of yourself all together, like expanding yourself, So the two energies don't necessarily have to be contradictory. But it's just noticing when it's really just time to focus on what's trying to expand within yourself and not doing a lot of extra activity and action and attention to the business, because the attention to you allowing this spiritual authority of yourself to come through is going to help the business goals and the abundance expansion or whatever new projects are trying to happen. All right, so definitely what you want to do is just go into nature, really tune in with yourself, tune in with the earth, tune in with Gaia. There is much more potential here, is what came through, and I'm quoting, for creative energy to make a difference if you do that. So just find harmony and balance with what has already developed. That's another major one right there. Harmony and balance with what has already developed, instead of searching for the new, because the new is coming anyway, and that might be where this distraction wants to come from, that you're giving attention because you want it to come. But this 2-week period is more going to be about just making yourself more expansive, and then the other things naturally occur. Not so much action is necessarily needed, okay, like physical action, And so, it could be people around you, whether or not you're in sync with them, or other components of your life. So you definitely want to express a lot of, just be very courageous in really loving and accepting and really looking with gratitude at what is already good there. Who's already there that's in sync with you? Where do you already have abundance and happiness? Like, focus in on that. Face all of these things head on. That's a big focus in this 2-week energy. And that's a general focus as well, whether it's the things that have just come through, or whether it's just in general. You definitely do not want to shy away from these things. So the energy there, the focus there that wants to be said is, just do not distract yourself and shy away from what is happening on a larger level. Don't try to do too much at once, take on everything. They said being overactively vigilant about outer structures rather than the inner. All of these things are things that they said that will distract from this larger theme, which is ultimately going to bring what you want. The larger, the whole allowing yourself to really feel inside your body, your field, your heart space, that spiritual authority, and really knowing it, aligning with it. So that's some work that's going to come. I hope that makes sense. Scorpio, love you so much. Namaste. Okay, now for Sagittarius. Okay, so the difficulty, well, let's not use the word difficulty. Let's just say that a challenge could be during this 2-week period, just facing your challenges or obstacles or whatever it is that's coming around you or happening around you, facing it head on and facing yourself, okay? And so, in fact, the way that I heard it and it came through is the difficult opponent is yourself. All right, so and we go through this, like, it's actually a good thing because it makes you look at all of the different facets and many things that are going on and just up levels, right? So what's happening that's sort of like, pushing that at bay, that whole facing everything, is just moving through past experiences, things that have happened. Totally normal. Just allow these old themes and patterns to release. I realize that I'm making that sound easier than it might actually be. So please know I'm aware of that. But that is what's coming through, definitely. Just allow old themes and patterns to release, and that's going to allow you to just sort of move forward, right? Temperance, balance, these things are called for. Be super, really beautifully kind to yourself. Forgive if and where needed. And see the bigger picture. See the bigger, larger, overarching picture in things, rather than necessarily the details, okay? Because the details are really just muddying what this bigger picture that's trying to come in is what that's really got going on. Okay, so let go of all that. See the bigger picture. All right, so something's going on here. A lot of you Sagittarius, it's looking like, are enthusiastically pursuing something. Maybe it's a new business venture. Maybe it's a relationship. And I'm really getting that many of you kind of already know what you want to do. And because the details are muddied, you know what I mean? You're not moving forward. But what's going to happen is, if you already know and you're lined up, whatever's on the other side of that door is waiting for you and ready. Very, very ready to be received. So just walk through the door, Sagittarius. It's really, really good energy. It's really good energy. Your focus is so much right now in this period on just having that solid, firm foundation, that stability, that happiness, like the full, well-rounded picture. It's next level. It's next level, really. And so you just want to pull back a little bit from not necessarily all social interaction or anything like that, but just overdoing that, just because these other things want to come into focus for you a little bit, like, allowing things to release and allowing for past experiences to really be worked through. And so you can't do that if you're over engaging, or at least it's more difficult. So sometimes you'll need to be in a little bit of a protective shell to find the strength, the answers, and also to stay balanced. All right, Sagittarius, I hope that makes sense. Let me know if any of that resonates. Love you so much, my Sagittarius friends. Namaste.